tickets, then I just need to put,
How many does she have?
right here.
I have 5 left.
Okay,
And
so
there's
then we can put them all
12
right here. And we have, if you've got
Put it on
5,
these 2 tables and not that one farther one.
yeah, not that one, but these chairs are fine, we can do those. Yeah, we can do these 4 chairs. No, we'll add, those tickets to those. I'm gonna add, yeah, we're gonna put 5 more tickets down.
But I have 12. Okay, so I have to do these 12 again.
Oh,
There's way too many. I only have 5 tickets. How many else?
then just use that.
Okay, that's why I was.
I thought you were saying you'd already filled these.
No, there's only 5 left. So
Then we'll do those and then this
These,
empty chair.
these 4.
Because I figured for 60.
Okay.
Yep. I'm sorry, I was misunderstanding.
No, I was confused. So this is a better view for you. Anyway,
It's a
here.
perfect, I love this, yeah, and then this table is amazing. Okay,
So then 4, and 3. So just pick these extra ones up. Okay.
all right, so I've got that set up for live. It'll be behind people, so they can't be, their face won't be shown.
I did cut out, getting 5 more out.
Oh. So,
I thought I did 60, I must have only did 55.
oh, okay, that's better because then we got.
Is that less confusing?
Well, it just makes the chairs space nicer. So I got. So I'll put these. Never mind, that's it. So then I'm gonna steal 2 more koozies.
Yes.
And
And we should have enough because there was a couple people that did not make it the other night and I re-invited them. I said, if you paid and you didn't come,
okay.
we got on the list. Let's put them, yeah, I don't care.
They're gonna wanna be up at the table.
Yeah, we'll do that and we'll move these chairs out. Okay. All right, let me see what these. All right. Here it is, we'll get back to the door.
Hey,
Oh,
where's your list, Beck?
They're all right there, the whole list.
okay.
Are you guys going to say open
There,
door?
he has to be ready.
Hey,
Okay.
what do you want to do?
Okay. I'll put it over here.
Thank
Thank you. Now, that whole entire list is not for tonight. The bottom half of the large one and that other single sheet, that is the one for tonight. Hold on.
This is from, yeah.
How many people do we have?
5. Yeah, well, we need 5 though. Okay.
A whole bunch of
Okay. Oh, we can sit here. Okay, we're pulling my shit. We can just kind of snuggle and face the front.
Yeah, I did.
I was at a wedding. I was at a wedding. And they had that with the bride and groom. Did you? Please, yeah.
Over here? Here? Yeah, let's go here. Right?
might be an OG folder. It's like Samsung folder. You might have well, that's your apps. It's gonna be in the screen somewhere. So scroll through. Is yours Samsung? So it's gonna. So it's, you got Microsoft, Google, Samsung. It's standard. No, they're not. This is the folder. So you click it. You'll get all that. So you can go to my files, search my file, phone. Voice recorders, voice recorders. You can text to speech. So you can sit there. This is Samsung. This is your name. Yeah, here you go. You got it. LG, so there's your LG. So, update center, switch. So it's not in the folder. It could no, that's gonna, so you could.
That's what I was gonna say, I was gonna add it.
Well, don't do it. Go back to the folder. Go back to the and I saw that. HD. Like that. Done. And there it is.
This is live right now on YouTube. Yeah, but you got, like, nobody's faces will be on. I have it angled so nobody's faces, but it's all recorded, so then everybody will be able to go back and catch up.
Oh, so we don't have to worry about recording.
You can if you want to record. If I read you and you want to record it, that's up to you. But other than that, it'll be on YouTube. Yeah. Well, I just want to let everybody know in case it's for me. It's yeah. And so I feel like, oh my God, they're like, what are they talking about this horrible thing?
Picture.
Yeah, just so you can get the same. How close is the Yeah.
You've got mail.
This table. way back there. We don't want to go back there. Want to go down it? Yeah. Should I get a cheese and cracker tray? Cheese and cracker tray? Let me pay for
So if they, I can come back. Crazy, huh? Yeah. And she knew that I. Right in that back room there. Once she was doing so well, she and she's been there before because I was like, let's pretend to take this again. And you notice this is out but now this time they actually sense that they are supposed when she had it on her face. And I said, is there a reason?
Because maybe it's blue. You don't know something correct. To the doctor, and she's like, even though she's I said, Katie, doesn't matter how
If you go like this, you never know that.
right.
But I know you can
Well, it happened on Monday, and I got it back. In the morning,
You've got mail.
First of all, nobody they want to see it, which is normal. They're very, yes, intelligent. And then she's like, and she asked her what happened. And she said, okay, maybe don't want to do this. I was like, that was nice. Yeah.
Another what? How much was it? I have $5 it said.
Can you add water?
Yeah. I think she's texting me. It's the last she's not there yet. This one is crazy. And literally taking my daughter saying that she's getting got a lawyer. She's going to get away from me. All for him to get her money. All bloody, goes in the house, and yes, we need that help. They started small.
It's like wrinkles too. I got a 6'4" son. And about 6 months. And then the next or he's and I
I'm still 5'2", but I'm not gonna try. And I used to be tall.
And my older grandson, he's a yeah, this was the first year. What do we need her for?
All right, good evening. We're going to get started. We'll get Rebecca up here in a second. I just want to say welcome. Thanks for coming, and I'm sure she's much appreciative for all of you coming as well. I met Rebecca several years ago, and her brother introduced us, and her brother was always, read him. And I'm like, no, don't do that. That's danger. Evidently, she couldn't read me because I'm here. No, she is. She does these things. I was not a real believer in this. I was skeptical, and I went to one of these with her a long time ago. And I watched her pick a lady out of the crowd that she had no idea who this lady was. And she told this lady about things that nobody should have known about that lady. Things about her past. And family-wise and stuff, and she made her cry. I didn't know if that was the right thing, but she did, because she was so taken aback by what she did, was able to tell her. So, you have a good open mind and open heart. I think you'll too experience some of that with her tonight. So with that, I'm going to get out of the way and let Rebecca come up. Rebecca.
Hi. How are you guys? Thanks for coming tonight. So I'm Dr. Rebecca Foster. There's nobody over here tonight? Okay, good. Okay. All right. So again, thank you all for coming. If you have to get up and use the restroom or get a drink, feel free. Go ahead. You're not going to bother me. Not at all. I do not get distracted easily. So I'm just going to give you some information. Then we can roll with the whole thing, and I don't have to stop and repeat myself to you guys and save us some time. So I've been doing this for 33 years. I started when I was 13, actively reading people. Before that, it was just absolute terror. And yeah, it was pretty scary growing up and not understanding that I wasn't crazy or schizophrenic and that these things actually were there. And so this is kind of just, I've followed God's lead doing this. I will let you guys ask questions towards the end. So I'm going to cut it off about 5 till so that I can do the drawing. So everybody has one of those little koozies in the ticket. And you guys have a choice. I can either cut it off at 7:45 and let you ask questions, or I can read through that extra 10 minutes. So you're going to have to decide on that one. Because we do have to be out of here by 8 o'clock. So it's like a ka-ching or a, yeah. So let me think. My gift is from God, and He gives me this information. Your spirit guides, people who have passed over. Oh, and everyone, this is on a live stream on YouTube, so you aren't on, like your faces aren't on, but you can go back and listen and try to figure out where you were read if you get a reading tonight, and listen over and over and over. It depends on which one. If you aren't subscribed on YouTube, get on there and hit the little bell, because I get on all the time and I do free galleries just like this. And as long as you let me know you're in the chat room, I can't see you otherwise, just let me know you're there. And I read for about an hour or 2 hours. It's a lot of fun. So anyway, the information comes from God, from spirit guides, and from people who have passed over. I do not consult the dead. I don't ask them questions. And the reason, because anything can answer, and only God knows what's in your heart, so what comes through is from Him. If you ask me a question, the devil knows your entire life story, and he can answer it too, so I don't let people ask questions, except at the end. Also, if you're a reader, my book just came out. It was on #1 on bestsellers for Amazon, which is called, it's God, Please Tie My Shoes, and it's a lot of stories about your relationships, what I've been told and what I've shared, your relationship with spirit and how you connect and how people who've passed over connect, and animals and so forth. Everything comes through symbolically. So tonight I'm going to read people based on, your energy. So, okay, I'll get to that in a minute. But everything comes through symbolically. So I'll tell you what I'm being shown first, and then I'll explain what it means afterwards. I'm also an eye contact person, except when I'm doing this, I have to be kind of careful about the eye contact because it brings me back here, and I'm actually looking at a veil or like a curtain that gets dropped. And so it looks like I'm looking here, but I'm not. I'm actually in like your world, which is really cool. So everybody also has a beach. And that's where I try to start off, but in a setting like this, it's a very quick reading, and it's what you are supposed to get, maybe not what you're expecting. If somebody who's passed over comes through, or an animal comes through, I will tell you what they look like. If they give me a name, an initial, of what they smell like, and sometimes what they taste like, because it's associated with smelling. So grandma might smell like and taste like cotton candy. We don't know. It has nothing maybe that was just her favorite food and that's what she plays on up there. So, trying to think of anything else. Oh, that was that. I was like, what was that? Should everybody have stopped and like, we're all hearing it? Okay, very, very important, last but not least. If I'm reading for you, and your Uncle Joe, I use this all the time, comes through, and I read for you, and your Uncle Joe comes through, and they both have a red truck, and they both had a hound dog, please say, I think you might be talking about me. And because what happens is, if it's two separate entities, I will be like, really, it's this, it's that, and you're sitting over going, hey, nobody say anything, say something. Because then I can take both Uncle Joes, separate them, and then associate the rest of the reading with each of you as I'm able to separate you. Trying to think of anything else, and then I'll get started. I kind of do the little talk so you guys can calm down, relax, and nobody's terrified. And I will not call you out for information that is sensitive information. It's not going to come out and embarrass you. What I'll be told is just to say a general blanket of information to the group, so then everybody will, that person will get what they're supposed to get without being called out for it. So don't worry, I will not tell anybody anything embarrassing. Your animals will though, so if your animal comes through, they will totally rag you out. It's just a fact. They have absolutely no care. They just do not care. All right, so I'm just gonna take a really quick walk around the room and grab energies and we'll go from there. All right. I know I have to follow the energy. So funny how each table smells so differently.
Each table smells different.
I was gonna say, you guys need to get here, you work here. Okay. Do you guys want to sit up here? You want to sit there? All right. Okay, so let's start off here. Let's pick somebody. Again, forgive me for I have to let the field drop here. All right, so there's several of you who have really strong energy, and I'm kind of letting you guys battle it out really quickly. So I have to read you first. I have to do you first here. And it's funny because when I walked past you, I stopped and I took a whoa and I backed up because I swear it looked like the wall my grandmother used to have with all of her paddles, each size for somebody different. And that's why I went, whoa, I know that wall. I've seen a wall similar to that, And I was getting information from several different people. So that's why I was like, I have to back up. And it also, I am not a Butterburkle fan, but somebody was coming through with like a Butterburkle smell, flavor, taste to that. And you have, I would think, you have an entourage of people who are passed over. And the one gentleman that came through, it was like he smelled like the Butterburkle, kind of like he wanted me over here with Butterburkle, and then the paddles was associated with it looked like a white house or a white farmhouse or something, and like she giggled, and You have a whole bunch of people, and then you've got, well, let me just quickly. Now, I have to be careful because these energies will pull me in, and then I'm like wandering around, and you guys are like, really, so you're gonna move on. And it's because I get caught up in the world. So you've got this older gentleman, a female that seems associated with him, but I would think this would be like brother, sister, so they're not husband, wife, this is brother, sister. And then there's a dog that is incessantly barking back here. And there's something yellow about what is over here, so I'm not sure if it's the house or what, but it's I'm supposed to acknowledge, they're wanting me to acknowledge yellow, and the dog won't stop. It's like, I don't know, a bigger dog of some kind, but it's barking. And it's like, you know me, why are you barking? It's just wanting me to do that, like to acknowledge its bark. I feel like I'm almost like on a farm or something because it's really hot. And I feel like if I go inside, I'm not gonna get air conditioning, I'm gonna just sit in front of a fan or something. And Tuesday, I'm supposed to say something about a Tuesday or Tuesday. So I don't know if this was last Tuesday or this coming Tuesday, but they just said the word Tuesday. I don't know if that's a name, but Tuesday. And they're getting, okay, so I see each of these, I hear the dog, but it sounds like I can hear people gathering for a party of some kind. It just feels like there's a whole bunch of people, that's why I said entourage. And it almost feels like a homecoming of some kind. It feels like either somebody, now I do not talk death, so if you know somebody who is really ill and you are afraid he's going to die, I don't see it, and that's just a blessing, I don't want to see it. But this is something like they want me to acknowledge a party as if it's like a homecoming for somebody that has either just recently passed or is suffering like dementia or something to where they're not completely coherent here, and they're here and there half and half of the time. So here they're like, oh hi, and then oh hi grandma, how you doing? How's the chickens? That kind of a thing. So they're presenting something for someone. They want maybe to let that person know or to let family know that there's a party being set up, that they're all very excited about a reunion. Now this feels like an aunt, so this would be like this is an older person. And I'm wondering if she's already passed, if there's a D or something around her name. I don't know, but she wanted me to say an A, or sorry, Aunt D. Oh my gosh, and I'm getting, see, they're like reeling me in, so I have to be careful because I have to like, usually I have my husband timing me, but we're not going to do that. All right. I didn't say anything. He's a funny guy.
You've got mail.
I did try to read him the first night that I met him, and I'm sorry, I'm cutting off your energy really quickly. And I actually picked up on some of the things going on in his life, and he just kind of said, and he's never really been a true believer until, I don't know, the last few years, and he come around. And now I think I'm rubbing off on him just a little bit, because he's like, getting a little psychic himself. If he only knew all the things that watched him while he was sleeping. I refrain from saying, I do refrain once in a while from saying all the boogans and stuff. The kids are all just like, did you see the little boy in our room last night? Great! All right. Okay, gentleman's back table. Yes. When I walked by you, you smell like trees. You smell like trees. Like evergreens and pines and prickly sticks and Sasquatches. I mean, that's what you smell like to me. You smell like yeah, like not in a bad way, in like an outdoorsy way. Like, I'm sure that they probably have an odor, but you don't. It was a good thing. A good thing. And you, like when I read for people, I can pick them up and drop them and see what they do and how they react. And when I pick up your energy, you basically you kind of just like hang there and you're like, wherever, just put me where there's no people. Just put me where there's no people. And so the interesting part is I drop you in an area where there's a forest. And so when I'm reading for people, there's like a beach and there's a dune and a house. And if somebody gets that tonight, I will explain what those mean. But you are somebody who, I guess your guides just want me to acknowledge the kind of chameleon personality that you have, where I can drop you in the forest and you'll be like, okay, bye, and run and go create and build a house and a fire and you'd be fine. But then I can also dress you up and I can put you in a suit and you would get along with all of these people too. So the chameleon behavior, that is something that comes from having an older soul and having just the ability to connect with people and to be able to morph into knowledge of who you want to or have to be, depending on the circumstance. And I think it's important for people to understand, like an old soul to know, because that kind of person does not truly want to be here. They're here not for themselves, they're here for other people. And so you would kind of get confirmation knowing, like, why the hell am I here? Because the reason people like you ask this is because there's never really anything that's like, boom, this is why I'm here. It's more like all these little things along the way. And then you've got these two younger men, so these must be children or sons, nephews, who are like straight up looking at you. And these two young men stare up at you and like you're like this really huge oak tree. And so these are either children or these are nephews, but they're family. They're within your close bullseye. And when it comes to your energy, nothing for you is ever going to be completely set in stone. You're going to go where you're needed when you're needed. And I would also like to throw you into a truck and let you just take off across the country and not tell anybody where you're going. Yeah, maybe take a load and make some money doing it, but you have no problem with being solitary. So that's I guess a little confirmation. Upstairs knows what you're doing and hears what you have to say, and you're only given what you need. So unfortunately, you'll never win the lottery. I will tell you though, and I joked around this with my husband, if you want to win the lottery, you just have to turn into a really greedy shit. Because if everybody here knows, like, if I win the lottery, I'm going to share it with the world, and I'm going to give help to everybody who needs them and pay off medical bills for everybody in the hospital. God's like, she doesn't need to learn what to do with that. We need him. He's greedy. He's going to hold it over your head. He's going to make you feel like crap. He's going to just so you pay it back and charge you 70%. He needs to win the lottery. Do you know what? I knew these people. They're probably watching online right now. And their family used to do that. They'd win. It was like, how do you keep winning the lottery? You have millions of dollars. Well, now we know. And so do you. And so do you. You just have to be mean. You just have to be mean. So when you buy your lottery ticket, say, I'm not sharing with you. That's the trick. That is the trick. Okay. For you. So, the first thing your guides show me is you are, everything is symbolic. So to make this quick, you are in a pair of shoes, pants, top. Sometimes the clothes will mean something depending on the color or the way that it fits, and it doesn't at this point. It's basically just the shoes that I need to pay attention to. And it looks like your ankles are tied and you are being pulled behind like a dog sled or something, and you're just kind of being dragged through the grass. And you really, it just keeps doing this over and over in front of me. So it's important for me, I guess, to acknowledge this. The fact that you have shoes on, when a person has any kind of shoes, I don't care if it's like a chain over your toe, it's representing that you are feeling held back, or the perception of not being able to push forward or move forward with things because you are tied to a current situation. So there's a feeling of restriction. And that can sometimes be the fact that somebody's like, well, I don't know if it would be really great if I went out to dinner tonight because my kids are going to be upset. Now, that's not a reason. But if you're taking care of somebody who's ailing, now that's a reason that you can't do something or go on a vacation or take a trip. Because, all right, so that's what's happening. But the fact that you're tied to this thing and being dragged through what looks like snow, what that is basically saying is that there's a feeling of loss of control on top of feeling that you're being held back. Now you feel like everything is just acting for you and you are at the mercy of what's happening around you. And Spirit One, the reason they're showing this is to acknowledge situations around you, to let you know that they understand that earthly situations would be creating or causing this. But I want to, and see what's funny is I can't see what vehicle it is. It just looks like a blob, like a big sled. It's all it looks like. So when I pick you up really quickly and I put you on your beach, because I want to see this do, you do try to take the shoes off. You do struggle, and I can't. I would love to take people's shoes off for them, but I can't. And you do struggle. I can tell you that an opportunity, because of this whole situation of being pulled through, an opportunity that you were wanting to experience would have been the feeling of it was lost. Like, I can't do this, it's gone, this is done. But what they're showing me in that when a person goes into water, that tells me the person is in trouble. They're feeling they're drowning in life. When there's a boat or skis or something to allow a person to go out on the water, that means that they can achieve something or obtain positive opportunities without feeling engulfed by those problems. So as I'm watching you struggling to get these shoes off, that boat that at once went out that represented the loss of one opportunity is kind of working its way back with each wave. So it's going to be like same church, different pew. You're going to get an opportunity, not the same one, but similar to that, to be able to experience something that you had to say no to previously for whatever life constraints. So that you're supposed to definitely say yes. And I mean, like, I don't care if you get in there with your shoes on. Eventually, you're going to throw those into the water. But opportunity that replays, you go for it. Okay. When I'm reading people, depending on how closely I get, see, we're in a 0 dimension, and that people who are passed over are about 5 dimensions out. So when I'm reading for people, I'm also crossing dimensions to read your beach and your energy. And sometimes I get a little too close to like 2 or 3 out, and then my eyes start going and like twitching, and then it just looks like I'm drunk. And I swear I haven't had anything to drink. It's just people will go, have you been drinking? No, I haven't. It's just my eyes are gonna get crazy on me now. All right. So let me see here. You're Lotus. Sure. Okay. I had to separate. I had to figure out which one of y'all has this energy going on here. But I was trying to pull away from you, and it was like, nope, right back here. Okay. So when I drop you on your beach, you go to a place of comfort. And interestingly enough, up the beach, there is a dune. At the top, there's a forest. And in the forest, it's a narrow path. And that narrow path is a place where Spirit basically kind of, he squeezes and he puts us through a bit of turmoil. He puts us through an awakening of sorts. And so you immediately teleport. I don't know how you did it, but you did. You're like, and you were all the way up there. And it's like this teleport to quickness to this entrance to the forest. And it's a dark path. Like, it's so thick that the light that shines through those leaves, it creates this dark green hue. You get up there and you immediately, like when we walk this path, the branches as we walk, they kind of strip everything off of us, our pride, our egos, our clothes, our everything. And it's really to put us through a situation where we're melted down to nothing. And when you're about to walk in, there's a gentleman that's standing on your right-hand side, and he puts his hand on you and he says, you can do this. Now, the fact that he's on your right and he touches your right shoulder says that this would be something emotional where he is concerned. And he's taller, broader shoulders. He just has this earth angel, angelic kind of feeling to him. And when you walk through this path, hold on a second, let's see what just happened here. Before you even get in there, you immediately just start taking everything off. Like, you know what's coming, you know what's about to happen, and you start going on this path like you're totally ready for it. So what this is telling me to tell you, everybody goes, why do you have to do that? Why don't you just go ahead and tell it what you, because I don't know until they tell me what the symbols mean. So that's why I kind of have to go into this little story. Because I'm really not that magical. I just kind of have to, I know what to say, like how to interpret them. So what this tells me is you're about to, or you are already walking through a pathway that you've already experienced before. You already know it. It's like you've been through this before. You know what you've got to do to get through it. And so it's like, oh, I've been here. I know how to do this. We have to go over here and go to the left. So my question is, or not even a question, it's kind of rhetorical, is why don't even do that. If you've experienced something before, do not do it again. Do not put yourself through the reason. You don't have to. There's no reason for it. And it's almost like you're confirming for yourself as you walk through this, like, okay, I've done this. I know how to get through this. I'm good here. It's like a confidence builder for yourself, not just to kind of believe within yourself and to trust what you've got going on. And it's just interesting because I'm going to yank you back and go, no, you don't need to do that again. You don't need to, no, I want to put you somewhere where you got to learn balance and I don't know, I want to flip you somewhere, but you're really done, you want to go in that forest. And so it's like a comfort thing. It's you need to break old habits. You need to break, I don't care if it's smoking, bad people, bad relationships, whatever you find that you are attracted to that is not positive and conducive to your growth, you need to get rid of it. The reason is because it's about to open up doorways for you where you're supposed to be empowering not only yourself but people around you and teaching them and leading them. And if you're going to be giving advice, you need to make sure that you are capable of giving it. I guess what they're saying, that people are going to be asking you for something, and there's this whole confidence in doing it. It's interesting. Like, you got this whole spiritual thing going on, but there's a lack of confidence in it, so they're trying to put you through situations to help you build that up so that you can help other people. I don't know if that makes sense. It's very complicated. Probably take about an hour, but I'm not going to do that. It's really neat. It's just a montage. It's just all this stuff of what you've got going on. And then you've got this really big guy who's like, you can do it, just go on, let's go. It's very cool. And he never shows me his face. He never shows me his face. So that's another interesting thing. If he were a person, he would have left this world not so much naturally. If it were a person, there would have been other circumstances around his passing. I know, can I hear the questions? I can hear the questions right now. I can hear them. I can't answer questions right now, but we'll get to them. You guys, if you have questions when we're all done here, if you have questions, everybody can email me, message me. I will get back to you as quickly as I can. Okay. Everybody's so quiet. It's so funny. I have to make everybody kind of giggle. Lecture opens up the energy, opens up the soul. I wish I had a really good knock-knock joke. I don't. My kids were here and they would tell you a great joke. So, like, okay, here's one. I'm going to give you guys. Don't say the answer if you know the answer. So Bob has 42 Snickers bars. Bob eats 41 Snickers bars. What does he have left? Diabetes. That's the kid's joke. Yeah, and a stomachache and like a coma. I really do have a great knock-knock joke, but I can't think of it, so I'm gonna ask my guys to remind me eventually for that one later. Okay, so, can you say hello to the glasses? Can you say hello to me? Hello. Do it again. Hello. And right next to her. Hello. Do it again. Hello. It's funny how people attract like, and that's good, as long as it's a positive good. You know, you don't want to be like, dude, you want to go shoot up some heroin? Yeah. You guys have a likeness going on. And it's funny because, and I want to separate the two of you, but to start off with saying, how do I say, it's like you are a super helps a lot kind of person, like you're a super helper. But you don't help, you kind of are like, oh, you're a super helper. And so you're a good friend and all, but you just need to tell everyone to stop being super helps a lot. And I can see that being positive. It's a good balance. So separating the two of you, you on the end with the glasses. When you're walking around, you have a bit of a parachute behind you that always seems to be full of wind. So you're kind of like walking on an angle as you're walking the wind and everything that you're walking against is making it that much harder for you to walk forward. And you're just walking next to her like, I love your parachute, it's great. So you are, what it basically says is that you're so accustomed to dealing with difficulty and struggling that this parachute's really nothing for you. And it also means that the people around you may not always recognize that you're in trouble or that you're in need. And something just came through my heart. I went, like, took like 6 good offbeats there for a second. I had to back up a little to figure out what that was. So there, as you're walking to, there is a young man that's walking off to your right, and it's like when you're on the phone with somebody and they're eating, you know? Like you can hear them eating and then you weren't hungry until you heard them talking with food in their mouth and you're like, what are you eating? That's what he sounds like, so now he's making you hungry. And he's got some, like he's just eating, and I want to listen to him for a minute because he seems to be like a bit of a Jiminy Cricket for you. And it sounds like, well, you're here, and so I'm standing kind of behind you listening, and he's like this. Why don't you just go do it? And like he's eating, and you know whatever it is you don't like, but they just made it sound really good. So it could be a bowl of olives for all I know, and I'm like, no. So he is. It's funny because I can hear him commenting on everything, like, what are you gonna do with this parachute? And he's commenting on all of these things, but he's not telling you what to do. He's just kind of planting seeds and suggesting things. So first off, what I have to tell you is, whoever this gentleman is, and I get 2 initials, so I can mirror things once in a while, and it could be a J or an L, but then there's an M in there as well. And so he is, and you might be, I don't know, you could be. I've read for people like giving them names before, and they're like, no, and then at the end they're like, oh, well, that's their last name. Yeah. So it kills me because they're very incessant about things, and he's showing me like a walking stick or a cane as well, and so there are so many symbols here. One, he's suggesting and planting seeds, which means you need to listen to that little voice in the back of your head that you listen to and you talk to, but sometimes you're kind of like, I don't know, and you kind of waver, but he's saying to stop, and he's trying to give you this information as to what to do. But you don't want to hurt people's feelings because you're just fix it all the time, and so you're kind of like, well, I'll just suffer this one out. It's no big deal. I'm fine. My foot's fine. It just came off. I'm good. All right, I'll take care of this. I'll just sew it up myself. So he is trying to get you to take care of yourself. He's trying to get you to stop caring about and taking care of everybody else. I mean, he's incessant, like he wants to hit you over the head with a spoon. So apparently, do you know who this could be? You do, okay, all right, so I can, all right. And I know that's funny, because earlier, I don't know, I said something, did I say something about Snickers bar earlier? I did, in a joke, right? Because he's, like, smells like a Snickers. Which is funny. And, you know, caramel, peanutty flavor, that's what he tastes like. And then whatever he's got in the bowl. He's a junk food junkie, though, I can tell you that. He's always eating, looks like carnival food or something in one of those paper plates. So then separating the two of you, your energy, you have like this tears of a clown thing going on, so you're this really supportive friend, but you hide all of your pain. You keep everything inside, so you really do have this similar thing going on with who you are, but you will completely be like, I'm fine, and then go home and break down next to the toilet, and just like nobody knows you. And you're like, oh, I just was yawning, and my eyes are watering. So you hide it, you don't express it. So what I want, with that being said, I'm gonna share this with you, but with the rest of the group, when you have pain, and when you've got suffering that you've dealt with for years, or months, whatever, a lot of times it's years that people deal with things. If every time you take it and you swallow it, and you don't acknowledge it and you don't deal with it, you don't talk about it, you don't name it, you don't express it, you push it down. So all of a sudden, you've been pushing something down for years and years and years, and then you get into your 20s like me, and then all of a sudden, you have like IBS or something, okay? Or you have stomach problems, or now you've got palpitations and you don't know why, or you've got anxiety, or you've got shoulder issues, or your neck is killing you. That can all be past life related. However, I'm not talking about that right now. But when you suppress these things, the body's like, the body starts seeing this as, wait a second, I'm the problem. And it'll turn on itself. And then people in their 40s, all of a sudden 30s, they're developing all these autoimmune issues because the body starts to see itself as the culprit causing the problems. So if you've got something that's going on, if you start feeling, or you've been hiding, or just not dealing with something, you need to emotionally find it, reach in the top of your head, pull it out, name it, acknowledge what it is, talk to it, scream at it, whatever you gotta do. Watch it go up in fire, and then blow the ashes off of your hand. Because by doing that, you're getting it out of your body. Write it down, get it out of your system. And that may not very well be the case with you, but it really can amount to that when you're suffering and you don't let people in on what it is because you don't think that they need to hear, or they don't have time, or they don't want to, they don't care. So yeah, that's really important. And then and before I move on, you've got a little boy around you. It's so interesting because I hear also the voice of a little girl, but I see a little boy, and they sound like they're playing like Ring Around the Rosie or Merry-Go-Round or something. They're giggling and laughing, and their energies are around you. So somehow or another, either these are living children around you, or these are children that have chosen to stay on the other side and work as a guide for you on that aspect, in that realm. But they do kind of look like you, but they're like really blonde. And I know you've got like a dirty blonde hair. They look sun bleached, like curls. You don't have any Victorian stuff going on or anything like that. I was gonna say, if you do, you kick those dolls right out of the house. Yeah, because I'm telling you, you know that you walk into those houses and you're like, ah! And the person's like, I just love dolls, don't you? I'm like, no, this is someone alive midnight and tries to kill you. My daughter wanted one of those American Girl dolls. She got one, and my son was like, oh my God, you know she's gonna come alive tonight and walk around your room. And she's like, what? So I go, where's your dog? She's in the closet. Why? We never make the dolls angry. You don't put her in a closet. That's why I'm like, you can't do, you put her in a nice bed next to you. No, you don't make the dolls angry ever. God. Yeah. Is anybody else like, I'm, how old am I? I forget. So even at 28 years old, I would stand at the light switch. And I'd run and jump in a bed. And I joke about it, but when I get up in the middle of the night, to either roll over or to go to the bathroom, I'm like this. I don't want to open my eyes. I don't want to know what's out there. I don't want to see shadows and things walking around. I've had too much with it, so it's like, I don't want to. And that's fun. I mean, how many people, speaking of that, I kind of like bring everybody's energy back down again. How many people think of someone and then they call? Has anybody ever done that? Yeah? Okay, and how many people have gone, okay, I'll choose B. It's A. I knew it! I should have just picked it. Switched because I was like, it must be too obvious. If you've ever done that before? Okay. So that is your guides. Those are the people that are on the other side conversing with you. And what they will do is they will use those moments, and every time you go, oh, I knew it, I should have picked that one. I knew, every time you do that, you have to learn how to recognize where that came through. Because what they're trying to do is strengthen your relationship with them. So let's say you're on the way to work and you're like, oh my God, I miss so-and-so. I wish they were still here. I'd love to see them. And all of a sudden, bam, the song comes on the radio and it's exactly their song or the words that they said. That is not a coinky-dinky. That is them saying, I'm right here. I am totally right here. That happens to me, and I'm just like, oh my God, you're amazing. Because it's like, I thank my guides all the time. And even like, if I pull up to Walmart or something and people are pulling out of the first parking lot, I'm like, thank you so much. No, I don't even have to. My kids are like, thank you, angels. I mean, they fight over pennies and feathers and dimes and all those things that they will send you when you are looking for a, hey, I need someone to tell me I'm not alone. So yeah. So that's the whole thing, is letting you know that you're not alone. We're all born, we all have like about 6 guides with us this lifetime on top of our archangels. And we're just not alone. We just sometimes feel that way. We feel disconnected. And I will move on, but one of the things that is really important, I'm being told to tell you guys, so I don't know if you guys believe in God or who you believe in. I don't care. I don't. I never did until all of this started, and then I thought, okay. And one night, there were several occasions, but my daughter, I was sitting on the floor, and you know, as a parent, come 4:30, you're on the floor, you're not moving. You just, whatever you need, you can bring it here. And she goes, Mom, will you button my shirt for me? And I said, yeah, sure, I'm here. So she's standing in front of me, and I'm trying to button her shirt, and she's like this, pulling away. I'm like, get over here. And I pull her button her shirt. Well, you know, you can't get those little buttons when they're all jacking around and moving. And it hit me. Holy cow. This is exactly how it is if you're looking for spirit, okay? He doesn't move. We do. So if you need his help, you need to go find him, because I can guarantee he's not coming to you. He doesn't move. You go find him. And I can tell you, because I was very hateful, and I pretty much closed off I was terrified for one, but I closed off all of my avenues to spirit. And by opening up and realizing that I was the one who had wandered away, the more you strengthen that, whatever that personal relationship, I'm not talking about you like dancing in church, and I'm not talking about that. I am talking about what you say in your mind to spirit, or to God, or to Christ, or to Muhammad, or whoever people pray to. It is your personal relationship with him that matters. And the more you do that, the more your guides will give you information. And everybody, it's like awakening. It's so cool, because any one of you guys, if I told you how to do it, could get up here and do this, because it's just connecting with your guides all the time and trusting them. So when you get those like, oh my God, I was just thinking about you. No, I was thinking about you, and your energy swarmed around me and mine, and all of a sudden you're like, I need to call Rebecca. I knew you were going to do that. it's fun. And there's times I think, I'm like, oh, don't think about that person they're gonna call. Oh my God. And I will like shut them off. No. Don't think about my mother or somebody else. I don't have time for that. It's funny. But just don't, if you don't want to talk to somebody, don't think about it. Because you're gonna be like, oh my God, I need to call her right now. Yeah. Okay. In the white shirt. It's funny because as you guys calm down, I always grab the one that's still standing. Like, oh, was I supposed to sit down? And you were still standing, but you weren't paying attention. It's just it's the energy. It's not the person. It's funny how energy is so different. And you're so shy. You know, it's hilarious because I try to talk to your energy, and you're like, oh my God. So when I see you, I see these really beautiful, like, blue waves all around you, and I feel sun, and I feel like you belong near water. I feel like, for whatever reason, I want to put you on a coast or near an ocean or something. I'm not sure, you know, what you do career-wise, but I would like to pick you up and like put you in Florida or put you by dolphins or something. I don't know why. You just have this really electric, like animal kind of energy. Not in a bad way, not in like a brown chicken, not like that, but like like an animal energy, like you connect. The fact also too that they want me to acknowledge the water, this also basically states that you're kind of like, I could pick you up and I could put you in different jars and you would form into those jars as needed. So you're still going through this crazy molding concept of what spirit wants you to do and what you want to do. And I can probably venture to guess, within 4 months, there's going to come a change where you're going to have to decide left or right. And it looks like this is hard because it's like, I've been wanting to do this. Like, I've always wanted to, but now I have the opportunity to do this. So I don't know if I should not. It's like there's going to be a path change for you. And it's not like there are opportunities that will come and you'll get like 10 at a time and you'll be like, I'm going out with her and him, we're going to do this, and I'm going to go do see that. And all these opportunities that only add to your life. But this looks like something that would, not in a bad way, like verge you off of your path, but it will change it temporarily. And it's not like you won't be able to eventually do this again. It's almost like saying, okay, I can either go and continue school or I can travel and then go back to school. It's something like that. It's like this doesn't have to go away, but this is something you want to do. It looks like in order to, before I open my mouth, in order to do that, I have to step back. You're going to have to deal with someone around you and say, I really want to do this. And that person may be like, no, I want you to do that. This is where you're like, shoot, like that. Because whoever is meant to be at the end of that path is going to find a way to meet you whenever. We should never change what God has intended for us or what we're passionate about for a person. There will always be regret involved in that. You will always regret that. If you know, just doing this, you know, I've got 5 kids, I just finished my doctorate, and you know, I do my readings privately, and then all of a sudden 2 years ago I hear, Rebecca, you need to get out there and do this publicly. You have to put it out there. I'm like, no way, I don't have time. I got kids, man, I got 100 kids at home. And so I just kept hearing, no, you've got to do this. So I thought, okay, fine, whatever. And I kind of closed my eyes and I just took the first step. And this was an adjustment for family. But my husband pretty much, he knew, you know, she's going to do what she's going to do. And they will find a way. People will find a way. Those that say, no, you can't do that, or that's stupid, I don't want you doing that. If they poop on it, it means they're terrified of losing you, or they're afraid of the outcome. You just maybe give them a benefit of the doubt, reassurance, let them know. And if they still have the little hissy fit, it's bye. And it's harder, it's easier said than done, but believe me, it feels so good to be able to get rid of people who want to hold you back. I can't imagine being held back, you know? You lose your mind. It's like, let me see, I want to find somebody who I could explain this to help. Because I think this would be for anybody, right? Can you get this to the group? I don't have to point someone out. Okay, so this is intended for someone who So you are, I guess I needed to clarify what I was saying more. So you're sitting, I'm trying to figure out, this isn't bad, it's not bad. It's just, I want to know who exactly I'm giving this to. And it might be you, but I'm thinking maybe it's not. Yeah, it's either you or you in the back, it's one of you guys. And it may not be you because actually you look like you've got some guy coming through around you. You do. Yes, I'm sorry. I know when I'm looking at people, it looks like I'm like, which one is she talking to? It's hard to see. And so I'll get, wow, cranky. All right, I'll do the thing first. Okay, so for you. So you're sitting in your lawn chairs, okay? So you're sitting and you got this huge boulder behind you. It's been there forever. And you're sitting in your little lawn chairs next to everybody and all the family, and you're like, oh, this is super fun. I'm so excited to be here. I just love sitting here all day doing nothing. And so you turn around and you look up at this huge boulder and you realize that there's a top to it. How do you climb this? You gotta figure out how to climb it. So, okay, I'm gonna go climb this boulder. Anybody wanna climb the boulder with me? No? Okay, fine, I'm climbing the boulder. So you get up there, it's a straight up edge. You're like splayed on the side of this, breaking your fingernails, banging your knees, tearing your toenails, you're just cursing all the way up. And nobody's helping you climb it. You're doing this all on your own. You're determined. So you get to the top, and when you get to the top of this boulder, it's actually like the edge of this huge, vast world. And you look around and you're like, holy crap, there's the carnivals and there's cotton candy and everything I've ever wanted is up here. And you're like, you guys have to come up here. This is awesome. And they're like, no. And now you have the option. You either go venture off and everything that is now available to you and open to you and this whole new world to experience, it's everything you've ever wanted. Or you go back down the boulder and you get in your chair. Oh my God, I can hear everybody like, you can feel it because you guys are envisioning this. But people do. We have to give that person or those people the benefit. A lot of times we will go back down and we'll sit there. But now you're like chemically, mentally, physically, spiritually changed because you've just been shown what you can do, what's possible for you. And so I always tell people, give your people the benefit of the doubt and let them have an opportunity to climb that boulder. If they don't climb the boulder, it's not your fault. The problem is when you go back up there, somebody's like, hey, I'm up here alone too, you want to go get some cotton candy? Yeah, let's go. That's where the problems start. Because now you're having cotton candy with people up there who are leading you in a completely different direction. So it's not our fault when we are opened up to things that other people just aren't, they're like happy where they're at. They're comfortable doing what they're doing. They don't want to climb your boulder. That's not your problem. I'm supposed to tell you this. There's somebody around you and it feels like I want to squeeze you. This is a guy and I feel like I want to just like give you a huge squeezy hug. And I'm having trouble breathing from the squeezy hug. It's like a pick 'em up, like kind of annoying hug. People are like, hi! And then you're like, I can't breathe, you broke my things. That kind of a hug. And I'm thinking the way that he looks and talks, he may even have like facial hair, mustache or something going on here. And what does he smell like? He smells like chili. He smells like meat. He smells like chili. Do you know who I'm talking about? You don't have to answer that. But he does. He smells like chili, and he's like this. Like he's you can hear him like talking, and he just got done eating chili, maybe. You can hear him cleaning his teeth. And I'm wondering if this is like somebody within the family that would be more platonic to you. So it would be somebody like a cousin or an uncle or something to that effect. Because it feels platonic, but I'm not able to put them directly in your bulldozer, in your bullseye. Maybe that was a fluke, and I was supposed to say that, like a Freudian slip there, but he's got a cut-off shirt on, and it's a vest, and it looks like a plaid shirt that you would cut the sleeves off of, and it's buttoned, but he's got another t-shirt on underneath it. He's got a hat on, and I swear he's got either a 5 o'clock shadow or he's got something going on with a mustache. He's got blue jeans on. He's talking about his heart, he's talking about his chest, so he wants me to acknowledge what would probably be some kind of a heart attack or some form of heart malfunction, but it's up here and it's tight. Now, is there like a K around you? A K initial? Like a Kevin or a K? That's living or fast? Interesting. Okay. Just keep it in mind. Keep it in mind. Believe me, people, it happens all the time. And as you're standing at the top of this folder, he's like, we want to say it. Like he's wanting to show you around. This is an energy that is somebody who knows you, who wants to show you around. He's basically, when you're presented with something like this, this is something you have to do. It's not going to go away. It's going to either become a regret or a success. And I think you may have turned it away, or you turned it away. It feels like he's saying something about having obligations towards mom or having obligations to mom. And I don't even know if it's you or mom. That's what's interesting. So there's a bit of also being taken for granted here. Not really being asked for permission about something. It's more like, oh yeah, she'll take, yeah, no, she'll do it, she's good. You're like, okay. So there's a little bit of there, assertiveness is not bad. Assertiveness, is basically saying, no, just stating a fact in a very bold way. You don't have to be a wench to get a point across. Being assertive. Being assertive just basically is you saying that this is the way it is. I'm sorry, you don't like it. But you guys have a whole mess of stuff for you to do when you leave here, just so you know. But the K is strong. It's definitely it's like a tall K. So it's like and I'm not sure if the name is actually K or if it's the letter K, but it's a strong K. Okay. I'm going to get back to you because there's a gentleman, and I swear it's like he's walking an animal, or he's walking a dog. He's like outside of my view. So, or he's talking to someone who is walking a dog, but I can definitely hear the chain and the collar and everything. Yeah, I think it's for you, yeah. I'm gonna get back to you though, because he's off to my peripheral, so he's not in front of me. Is there an A name? Aaron or Adam? Okay, so that's why let me stop with you because I was shifting to over here. Yes, you. Yes. Okay, so when I did that, there was like an A initial that came through, and I didn't know if it's not for them, but like Aaron or Adam or something with an A was coming through quite strong, and it almost felt like travel related. And this individual was showing like what do I call it, like the Eiffel Tower. It almost looked like Paris or something, just wanting to showing me this. Yeah, like the Eiffel Tower, and then this really strong A came through. You're also going to be I guess the word would be breaking ground or starting something new for yourself, and there's a new chapter coming. So you are actually like digging and like starting, so it's like they're saying breaking ground. So it's basically saying that you are going to gather all of what you need, which is already in the networks of people, finances, places, everything that you need is already in your ingredients basket to make this a success. Excuse me, so this is either a first or a second business venture that you would be dealing with. And what they're saying is using your gut and using your instincts to really work this, because you don't want to make a concession and bring someone in simply because of who they know or what they know that you know for a fact is either going to cause a problem or is going to, you know, rub the wrong way where you are concerned. But this feels business related, and it feels like a second or a second try or a second beginning with something that would have been either there's one already and you're going to do two, or it's a second attempt at something here. And just being precautious about who you bring in. But there is this person with this A and this Eiffel Tower. I don't know what this means. If it could be like a symbol to watch for. If you're questioning something and all of a sudden you see somebody has an Eiffel Tower on their keychain and you're like, whoa, what's your name? And now that would be a symbol of something to pay attention to, something to watch for. It's interesting. Okay. But yeah, everybody that you know, everything you need is already within your network. You are to refrain from starting anything outside of what you already know or who you know. It's already like, oh yeah, Jane knows this person, they'll totally get you started. Now, like, go find it yourself. You already have a connection to all these steps that you're going to be taking, and it's almost like everything kind of snowballs and falls into place. But it's business related. It's funny because it's like I'm going to move on, and every time I try to step away from your energy, it's really weird. It's like you have this servant's personality, you have this servant thing going on, and it's like I keep standing behind someone, and I'm like Edward Scissorhands, like this servant thing going on, where you're just like chopping your hair off and twisting your hair, and so yeah, and people who are like nurses, hairstylists, bartenders, you guys are all like non-licensed therapists. And I say this because people come in, they sit down, and then they throw up everything on you, either sober or not. And you just kind of have to put up a shield and block it off, and it's funny. But healthcare workers, HR people, hairstylists, bartenders. Wow, the information y'all have to blackmail people is immense. You either come back to me for the hair color or else. So yeah, so there's something where you're going to be like closing a door here and starting something new here. It's pretty cool. Without all the blood. It's interesting. Very, very cool. All right. There's so much energy, there's so many people. Gentleman with a hat on the end. This is weird because I don't think you're a twin, but you have somebody who came up beside you that looks so much like you, but he's older. And he looks so much like you. And he smells like a campfire. He smells like cedar and hardwoods and like smells like smoke. He's saying about doing something or taking it to the garage or bringing it into the garage. And I'm wondering if he's meaning you, but he's saying about bringing something into a garage. And then he also hands you a set of keys. He's like handing you keys to something. He's saying, these are for you, these are yours now, these keys are yours now. And he's passing on a baton, or he's giving you something. He's letting you know these are your keys now, these are yours. And when I'm talking to him too, he wants me to acknowledge some kind of a cough where lungs are concerned. So I feel like I'm coughing a little bit, but it feels like a dry cough. Like I'm not really able to produce anything when I'm coughing. I feel like I'm coughing and it's just dry. I'm not hacking anything up. And this would be maybe a chronic thing that somebody would deal with. And pudding, like rice pudding or vanilla pudding. Who likes vanilla pudding unless it's in a cake or something? But he wants me to mention that flavor, like and you know, like I know they'll put like cognac and stuff into a rice pudding, which would be better. But that's the taste, like rice pudding. It's what it like or an Irish cream or something. I'm supposed to talk. It's that kind of a flavor. And there is a dog. So is this dog like buried in your backyard or something? You've got something of the dog, like okay, because the dog is in the backyard, in your backyard. Squirrels. I'm supposed to talk about squirrels. And you know what's funny is in Illinois, there is like, I almost swore, a whole bunch of squirrels. You just go outside and you just can like, there's squirrels everywhere. Here in Wisconsin, I rarely see squirrels. But the dog is talking about squirrels. And the dog is talking about, I don't know if this is like a shed or something, but I don't know if it's got a red roof or something red that the dog is talking about. And it would look like a small shed or a chicken coop or something that would be, I would think, too small unless you were going to put like maybe just a couple of things in it, but it's not like a garage. A doghouse maybe? Is it a doghouse with a red roof? It's got a red roof on it. It's red or burgundy, the roof.
Could be a kid's playhouse.
Kids Playhouse. And then do you have something that hangs from a tree, one of those balls that you can hit at people that stays on the rope? Anything that hangs that the dog would play with off of the tree? It's like a rope and it looks like a ball, like one of those, I don't even know what you call it, I don't know what it's called. Tether ball. But the dog is playing with something hanging from a rope. This is where I get lost because you get really talkative animals and stuff, and then I'm like, oh, this is so much fun, and then also I'm supposed to talk about a loneliness for you, that you're the only one who comes out the door at this, like he's saying that, the dog is saying that he sees you come out alone now, or you come outside alone, that there's somebody missing from the doorway, there's somebody missing coming through the door. And something about a boat, and a boat not leaving or a boat not going out. And it looks like a boat, like a fishing boat, like just a plain old metal boat. Hold on. Oh, dogs are fun to talk to. I will say a joke. A friend of mine had a dog, and it was like a mix. It was huge. It was a Rottweiler mix. His name was Magic, and he was like one of the first dogs that ever really came through to talk. And I was like, oh my God, your dog sounds like Sean Connery. I was like, he's so good looking. It's like, if I was a dog and dead, I don't know. Dogs are funny. They come through and they have accents, and but he was Rico Suave Magic. He was so good looking. But he was a dog. He was just a Rottweiler dog. But, you know, in my head, I was talking to Sean Connery with a tail. But Yeah, so you've got this really awesome dog in your backyard that talks, and his tongue like, is always hanging out of his mouth. Is hyper active, like his tongue's hanging out of his mouth, and always outside. And so you have 2 daughters? Is there 2 little girls around you? Any places? Is your wife pregnant right now? I hope not. Let me ask you this then. Do you have a little boy as well?
No.
Not yet.
Oh.
You have the 2, I see the 2, but I see the boy. So that's why I was asking if you're pregnant. But there's a little boy around you. However he chooses to come into the world, I see him around you though. So, which is very cool. That's funny. Okay, so that's really cool. So hopefully, so this is, you guys are all family then? Okay, so hopefully while you're sitting there, you can kind of think about what I said. It might make sense to maybe you guys or your family or in-laws and figure out what it is, because then I'll bounce off you guys in a little while. Okay. Now you have this like really strong energy that is kind of similar to what I was saying before, having these opportunities and all these things come to you, and then bulldozing through to making it happen. So it's different. When I'm seeing you, there's this like, once you get spurred on or passionate about something, you just kind of set your mind to it and you complete tasks. So there's this organized part of you that, and I have to correct myself. If you want to do it, you bulldoze through it and complete the task. If you don't want to do it, you will stop maybe halfway through and walk away. And it's because you get bored easily. You do what you are good at. While you are good at it, you put forth what you're supposed to do. You don't like competition. You don't want to fight people, and I mean, I agree. I'm not a team player. I am not a team player. I don't work well with other people. I just don't. I try. I do try. It's one of my lessons. But you have this leadership energy that you put into what you're supposed to. You delegate. You get done what you're supposed to do. And so you want to make sure that you're pursuing things that allow that to flourish. If you're a leader who delegates well, you don't want to be somebody at the bottom of something, because you're not going to be using most of your potential to make a success of a situation. So don't put yourself in positions where you won't be able to provide your creative outlet. And part of the reason for that too is because you don't put a ceiling above your head, so you are always thinking outside of the box. And sometimes people will be threatened by that. You know, if you walk in and you're confident with what you're capable, you also, one of the things we can always do, no matter how confident we are in doing something, is to humble ourselves. So being a leader from behind is one of the best things to do. So just decide, okay, I'm going to lead, but I'm going to get behind these people, and then I'm going to show them where they should go for back here. Because now these people are running the show, and you're actually helping to guide them rather than manage the crowd. Or, you know, have you ever tried to herd cats? It's impossible. I have 3 kids. I know. So it's like, well, I have 5, but one is older and he doesn't count. So, I mean, he's out of the house. So what they're saying essentially is you have a really strong ability to succeed. You are able to see things from outside the box and take things creatively, which can be conceived as like a threat to other people, because they'll think, oh, she's going to try and take over. And so what you do then is humble yourself, put yourself behind the pack, and say, now I think you could maybe do it like this. And then, sometimes just planting the seed is all that it really takes for someone to go, oh my gosh, did you see this thing? Now they'll take it, it's growing, they water it, and now everything is coming to fruition and manifesting the way that it ultimately should. And it really means that you just have to kind of like knock ego out of the way. So it's just saying, I had a part in that. And they're wanting you to do this because for whatever reason, you're supposed to get involved in something from behind. Like you're supposed to step back and help others do it. You would make like a really great wedding planner. I know you're like, what? But you're really good at organizing. And you don't let me, well, you do get stressed out quite easily. Yeah, you do. So maybe not wedding planner. But from behind, you plan it and you get someone else to do it. You plan the whole idea and then you have someone else put the whole thing into action. Because then you know. But out in the mix of things, yeah, no, I can see you getting stressed out. How many people here, just with a small raising hand, how many people here have ever had like anxiety attacks? Panic attacks? Like, I would be careful because sometimes you talk about a panic attack and people are like, you're just talking about it can bring it on. It's funny how when you don't understand something and you don't know really what you're talking about and then you make fun of it, God's like, really? So you know so much, here you go. How about you experience that for a little while? I made the mistake of one time making fun of someone who I worked with who claimed to have panic attacks. And then he was like, here, Rebecca, here's a panic attack out of nowhere. No idea. So that was my lesson so that I could actually talk to them, so understand it and talk to people about it. So if you're having anxiety out of nowhere, if you're having panic attacks out of nowhere, I want you to take a step back and actually consider, what am I doing right now? Where am I at? What's happening around me? I'm safe, I'm good, I'm okay. Nothing endangering me, nothing, just kind of assessing your situation. Because the reason I bring it up is, for instance, if you've got past life residue that you've carried over into this lifetime, and all of a sudden when you're 24 and you are driving down the street and somebody almost hits your car, you flip out, like you go in full-blown attack. Out of nowhere, for no reason, you're fine. But this little incident has just triggered this. It's because probably when you were 24 in a previous life, you were killed in something similar to that. And so that residue of not being able to accomplish, you carried that over with you. And my entire year of 24, I thought I was going to die in a car accident. I thought, is this a premonition or is this residual? I was freaked out every time I got in a car. People who are claustrophobic, you very well could have died in a cave-in. Yeah, you could have, people who don't like water and boats, you could have died on the Titanic. You could have been on a boat and just drowned. And these are things you have to understand. If you're having them out of nowhere, you've never suffered from them before, and all of a sudden you go get an MRI and you start having a panic attack, you can bet your boopy you probably died enclosed in something at some point, and you just triggered it at that precise age and everything else. So just getting through it and breathing through it, and then asking your guides what's going on, what could have possibly happened to you. But so anxiety and panic attacks, they can be real. People can have major chemical imbalances, so you don't want to screw around with that. But if it hits you out of nowhere and you're doing something you've never done before, consider what you're doing, because you very well could be just tying it into residual issues where you died previously. I always have this hang up with, you're going to break your neck, oh my God. So I'm sure all of us were hung at some point. It's all about breaking the neck this time. Okay, so for you on the end? Yes. I'm supposed to go through with you that there are family historical habits that you are either breaking or going to break in this lifetime that deal with health and with physical well-being. When they give anything that involves health, it's always precaution. It's always, they're giving it to help a person to prevent something or to move through it properly. So the one thing that they bring up with you, that it may not be with you, yet, but it would be previous, would be, when I read, I swallow. When I'm talking, I'm swallowing air, so you'd like to have a belch, because I can belch, but it feels like I want to call it like ulcers or something degenerative for my stomach, right in the duodenum, into the, right here, right into my upper, wherever that is, I just feel like it's eroding or it's eroded. And it affects how I'm eating or what I'm eating. And I'm thinking if I was to eat something spicy, I'd probably pay for it. And it's not so much like it's backing up. It feels like it's ulcerative. So I'm not sure if that's just tied into the stomach or if it goes into the colon itself or into, the intestines. But they're saying that if you haven't yet, to get tested for like a wheat issue, to get tested for dairy, find out if there's any kind of intolerance within the family that is just so mild that isn't like you break out into and have an allergic reaction, but that your body is just over time becoming much more susceptible to. And if you're seeing a pattern in the family that deals with any kind of ulcerative colitis or stomach problems, that it would be something that you could figure out and turn around and prevent for yourself. Because I'm looking, I'm like, okay, I'm not seeing like sugar issues, I don't see that. But there's a grandmother that comes through. I think that this must be like a grandmother, not a great grandmother, not a mother, but she wants me to point out her legs, and it almost looks like cellulitis or something where her legs are swollen, or like it goes from like under her knees, like calves down to her feet, and that looks painful to walk on. I'm thinking my feet would be elevated looking like that most of the time because it just looks, they look swollen. And it really looks more like inflammation than circulatory problem. It looks like inflammation. Oh, and then here she goes, she's pulling away. Is there an H around you or a grandmother figure like Henrietta had something with an H? Do you know of? I think it's an H. A great aunt Helen? Does that fit her? Was it her, or was it within her side of the family? So that's your father's side of the family? No. Okay. This would be, gosh, it just feels like, oh yeah, mother's side of the family. Okay, and yeah, and I was like, yeah, but I said father's. Yeah, so it's mother's side of the family, so not mom, but your grandmother's sister. Don't ask me to do that, that's like math. All right, so find out if grandma or, if mom, anybody else has had any of that kind of situation where digestion is the problem. Because that's what I'm supposed to tell you about, something about breaking or figuring out the issue. And maybe it's not something that you've experienced yet. It's something that when it does, you'd be like, check me for wheat and dairy right now, do it, so then they can figure it out, because it may not be that you've got the major diseases, like lactose intolerance and all that, that's definitive, but, okay. You smell like suckers. Yeah, you. Yeah. You smell like a sucker, like a safety pop, that cherry safety pop. It's interesting. And I'm supposed to tell you that you have a nice smile. Somebody is like all teeth, all smiles, all teeth. And then actually they take out their teeth. So they're like smiling, and I'm like, that's all I see, and then they're like, So, okay, so I've got two people. So when he did that, I'm sorry, I'm standing behind them. So when he did that, there was a woman with him, she's like, and she like, it just like tisks him and then turned around like, oh, here we go. So really, it's like, it would be a male, female, they must be married, passed over marriage, married couple. And I would think he's probably he's gotta be like at least 6 feet tall. He's gotta be taller than my husband, and about maybe my height, 5'6", maybe she was a little bit shorter, maybe 5'5". Maybe she would have shrunk just a little bit. But she's got like a light brown hair, shorter, curlier, and he looks like he lost his hair on top. It's thinned around the back, but he keeps it nice and cut and brushed back. And he's not a small guy. I would think in his day he probably like football, or he would have done something like golf or a sport. But he's like wider shoulders, taller. He's got slacks on and a sweater or a button-up. It looks like a button-up. So funny that I'm looking at him. I would never think that he would take his teeth out, but he did. Okay, I just want to hear him really quickly. She's saying no stupid jokes, no dumb jokes, no dumb jokes. And it's funny because I'm listening to him thinking, he looks so proper and appropriate, but he's funny, like in a, I don't know how to take him kind of a way, like, how do I explain him? Just, I'm sorry, I'm listening to him and I'm watching, and it's like, he will say something almost under the table. So it comes across funny, but people are like, oh, grandpa. They like don't, it wasn't really funny, but it was like, it's grandpa, so let's laugh. And then a blue car. It looks like it's a, I don't know if that would be a convertible, but it's a blue car. And what sounds like propellers or like monoplanes or I can hear the little plastic spinnies. I can hear it. Like, I can hear that in the background. He's really big and he won't move, and he's like standing right in front of my vision, and she's just like, and I'm waiting for him to say or do anything else, and he's not, he's just standing there. So let me just kind of wash that a little bit. I'm gonna put him somewhere else. So this is your grandfather's brother and his wife. Does that make any sense height-wise, presence-wise, appearance? Do you know? Did you know him? And he's talking about service, but he missed it. He didn't do the service. You would think someone his age would have been in the service, but he did not go to the service. Is there an F? I don't know if it's Frank or Francis. Grandfather's brother and wife. Interesting. I know it's hard when you don't know. There's a lot of people I wouldn't know, but it's fun when you're able to go look it up and go, oh, now that explains it. That fits the bill. And that's what's really fun. I'll hear about that stuff later. But he's not sharing much, but he's taking up your whole channel. He's taking up the whole channel. So I can't get him to stop. He's like, he wants to talk. He's very pedantic, but he just wants to talk. But he's not saying anything that means anything to me. That's why I'm not making sense of it. He's just talking. I'm gonna, I have to shut him off for a minute until he gets his understanding right and how to communicate with me, because I don't want to waste time waiting for him to figure it out. I'm thinking he may have had dementia or something. He wants me to acknowledge that it might be why he's doing it, to acknowledge like dementia or Alzheimer's or something. And then maybe why he's doing it. Okay, so somebody within the family that had Alzheimer's or dementia. Yeah, see, now I have to move away from him a minute because he's taking up the whole channel. Hold on a second. And there's somebody else like a T or a Tad or somebody that sounds like it's trying to come through or be acknowledged, so I have to wash this out really quickly. Hold on. What do you think? Do I know any really, really good knock-knock jokes? I have one, it's so funny. Oh, okay, I have one, okay. This is the John Travolta voice from the, Welcome Back Kyle. Okay, so. That doesn't age me at all. Okay, so, knock knock.
He's there.
I met
I met who?
a big mistake.
I met a what?
You touched my hair, what's going on my hair, and you touch it. Okay, that also aged me, but I'll just keep it. All right. That's so funny. I sorry I had to clear off his energy because he's over here right now and he's like pulling on me and he's like giving me the shakes. He wants me to talk. But he's obviously got such a strong message that he's not wanting me to let go, but I'm going to because I have to let him figure out what he's got to say. And it's seriously, somebody in here is going to be like, I think you were talking about me. Is there anybody that makes sense to? This dude with the wife? With the teeth that nobody's ever done that to anybody? He's done it to you?
My godfather
Did he ever take his teeth out? And
at the fair.
what was his name?
Bill.
Did I say anything about a B or a Bill?
Right.
No? Okay. I don't remember when stuff comes through, so does his height, does anything like that make sense to you?
He was smaller and my godmother was bigger, but she was always yelling at him to knock it off. Because he was always doing funny stuff.
And this was your godfather, was it like your grandfather's brother then?
No, it was just a real good friend of my parents.
Yeah. Made it sound like it was he's like repeated it several times with his grandfather's brother. And she's annoyed with him.
Yeah, all the time.
Okay, so I wonder if I'm twizzling you guys, if I'm twizzling two different people. All right, we'll let that happen. We'll let that come through. We'll let it figure it out. Okay. All right, now I got John Travolta on my head. Oh, like 1970s John Travolta, not 2000s John Travolta. I know, right? Big difference. Can you say hello for me? Hello. Do it again. Hello. Like when you're answering the phone for the 50th time. Hello. Okay. That was so nice. I'd be like, hello. I always answer after you get those calls. It's robocalls. It's like, oh, Chinese are on to me. And they hang up. You just answer in a different accent. They don't even want to. Yeah, trying to figure out if it's you or you. Trying to figure out. You're like me. It's me. See, now this is where I may twizzle a couple. I may bring you both up at the same time. But somebody. Gosh. See, there's certain things that I let come through several times to confirm before I open my mouth because I don't want to say something incorrectly. But you have, that's why I'm wondering how this, the situation's maybe, forget it, I'm just going to start with you, okay? I don't want to waste time. So you have somebody coming through that feels like it's taken from you. It feels like the disconnect of energy is very sudden. And I feel like when you lose somebody quickly, unexpectedly, that energy just gets ripped from wherever you're used to having it. And it creates an immense pain. Some people even realize, like, wait, something's wrong. Something does not feel right. And people will be like attuned to something like that. But this feels like I'm cold, and I feel like there's several things. I'm feeling it right here. I'm having trouble swallowing and breathing. but I feel, it's dark, and, it's cold. And I'm wondering if this is like an out of like control vehicle of some kind, but if it's winter or something, but I feel like it's just unexpected. And what's interesting too is the way that the lights hit the sign in front of me. It's like one of those like, here's your turn, you know, and like there's something unexpected, as if something is misread or someone misreads something. It just feels like I'm being told to talk about a misjudgment. And but the non-breathing, do you know who I might be talking about? Without saying anything?
I have a few different people that kind of like.
See, that's probably why I was thinking I was mingling, because I'm like, I got several people, so I thought it was for you, but it must all be for you. Yeah, okay, so I'm just gonna tell you what I'm being shown. If I am mingling them, then we'll be able to separate them, but I hear, this, I'm almost thinking this is an accident, like a vehicular of some kind. Okay, because the noise is what is so deafening for me, is the noise. Like I can hear that before, I don't know if the vehicle rolls or what, but I can feel, I hear more in the moment than I feel or sense what's going on, because I can hear gravel and I can hear crunching and I can hear all of this, and this is what I'm hearing. But the next thing I realize is I'm kind of like standing out watching the whole thing. I'm watching everything. And there is some form of out-of-body experience that happens during this time. So if the person in the accident survived that accident, there would have been like a pulling in and out of the body during the time of before they decided to go. But then there's this other part that I'm picking up that it's from here to here, that I'm having like a crush or difficulty breathing and swallowing aspect. And it just feels like it's my head, like it's my face, it's my sinuses, it's my everything. It's just like, this is like it's crushed or something, like that's how it would just feel, like everything was blocked. So I would think maybe a head injury or some kind of thing that would block my sinus passages, or like a bleeding of some kind, or something, because it just feels like this is all just not, I can't breathe. And then I guess, let me ask them what they wanted to say, really, because I get caught up with these energies because they get a voice and they want to talk, and it's, I can't stay with them all the time, but I'm supposed to mention this. I'm not sure if this is like a double, or like two like graves that would be next to each other or something, or how they are aligned. But I'm supposed to tell you about, and you must be taking care of somebody's animal or something. Did you take an animal from one of these people? The cat? Because they're showing me a cat. It's I would think it would be brown, almost like it would have a split or something down the center. It would be, there's a cat. Okay, so you, and then there's like a, I'm supposed to talk about, very quickly, seeing you, watching you, and then a vase of, I don't know, it looks like almost like a cup, but I would think like a vase of some kind that comes up, and there are, I think those would be yellow flowers of some kind, and almost like a fake butterfly or something, or a bird or fake attached to it somehow. I don't know if it's on the vase or on that, but they're wanting me to acknowledge these yellow flowers. I know you're trying to make sense of it and figure it out. Is there like a Lynn or a Lee or an L name in there? Len or Lynn? What's the name?
Terry.
Terry. Was Terry a smoker? Did Terry smoke? Yeah, because as soon as you said that, I felt like, holy crap, I can't breathe at all. Was there any alcohol in her system? Do you know? Yeah. Okay, because as I breathe out, I'm breathing alcohol. Okay. Did her car flip or something? Was she upside down? No? Gosh, I feel like I'm upside down. I feel like I feel
almost right upside down.
I feel upside down. But I definitely have alcohol because I'm like, I either maybe just drank something and then went, but I just, when I breathe out, I'm definitely breathing alcohol. But what I guess I'm supposed to move on is to let you know that she's like this, she goes, I'm okay, I'm okay. And I really want to do like superstar, but I'm not. Because then the dress will break. And I'm not smelling my armpits. Oh, that's funny. Sister Mary, what? Mary Catherine Gallagher? Yeah, Mary Catherine Gallagher, yeah. That is hysterical. Okay, so I have like 10. You guys want me to keep reading, or do you want me to let you guys ask questions? Keep reading. Okay, so I'll go for like 13 more minutes and then I'll do the rest. And again, get onto YouTube, subscribe, it'll let you know when I'm on for free. Just get in and let me know you're there and I'll read everybody I can. I do it all the time, and when fall is here and my kids are in school, I get on all the time during the day. So, and it's a lot of fun. It's a way of giving back, so. All right. You guys, I know I had seen that gentleman come through, and he was here, and then he went outside. He was talking to her. Are you guys together? Yes. You're together. Okay, so you'll be able to make sense of it then. But no, I was looking at her. I know it's so weird. It's kind of like gecko eyes. You're not sure who I'm looking at. And just so you know, if you run into a person who has a wandering eye, you look right here. Always look right here. Because then they don't, it looks like you're looking in their eye. They won't know that you don't know like which one to look at. Look right here. I learned, it's true. You look right here. And then when they're like, what are you staring at? I'm like, no, I'm just talking to you. Okay. So he went out and he was talking to someone, and it smelled like popcorn and like buttered popcorn. And he has not come back in. That's why I kind of been waiting for him, and I feel like I'm standing and there's a door. He smells like, and coffee too, which is really weird, like popcorn and coffee. So maybe he was a movie dude, but and MASH, weird, really strange. But like MASH just came through. Like, you know, MASH, the, Mobile Army Surgical Hospital TV show. Wow, I really engaging myself in this show badly. Because all the millennials are on my phone going, what is she talking about? But I don't care. So, yeah, so he's bringing me all these symbols, but he is out of the room. Like, he is out of the room. Christmas, I'm supposed to mention Christmas, December, Christmas, like around Christmas. And so that could either be a birthday or an anniversary of some kind for him. And is what? I can't hear. Christmas is big. Christmas is big? Okay. And he looks like he's wearing like a white sweater or a white shirt, and he must have to wear a belt because I would think his pants would fall down like he has no butt. His pants would go. You don't want that excitement at Christmas, but yes, you do. Yes, you do. And so he is out. And it's like one of those nights where it's super cold and crispy, and the snow is really thick on the ground, and the stars are out, and there's no wind. It's just like you could be out there forever because it's warm. As crazy cold as it is, it's like, wow, I could be out here for like 5 more minutes. That's what he wants me to acknowledge. It's just one of those nights where everything is, the stars are out, and that it's just beautiful. I think that he wants me to talk about whipped cream, like pumpkin pie whipped cream too. I don't know, I don't like pumpkin pie, but I know what it tastes like. Because if it's food, I've tasted it, and it tastes like, that's what makes me so good at this, is because I know what food tastes like. I can taste it even if I don't like it. And it tastes like pumpkin pie. The whipped cream though, I would eat the whipped cream, not the pumpkin. He still has got his back to me, he's not coming in. So whoever this gentleman is, when they have their backs to me, a lot of times it's because there's a feeling, they want me to express having left what people think is too early, before their time. So it's either something that can happen because of at their own hands, or that they are dying, or that they died when the family's going, he was just too young. This is just, he should, family things. But one is by free will, and the other is actually written into however they're choosing to live. And they have a choice. We all have a choice, and so choosing to live, he just wants you to know that he's there, and that he's enjoying these things. And he's got coffee, popcorn, pie, boba whipped cream, and these holidays that he obviously is spending with you guys. And it's really cool, so you just take pictures. Have you ever just looked through old photos? Oh my God, it's so crazy, all the ghosties that you will not see unless you go close up on things. I will tell you this really quick, and then I'll shut up and I'll get ready to go. So if you get onto YouTube and look at this video, I brought this little boy home from Baraboo at the old brothel up there, old Baraboo Inn, and I brought him home. And I was like, you can't go home with me. You can't come home with me. He's like, I'm coming home with you. Well, my husband and I brought him home. And a couple nights later, in the morning, my kids wake up. Now, nobody is sleeping. The kids are awake, yelling, stop it, leave me alone. And like 3 nights in a row, I'm like, that's it. I'm pulling out the night vision. So I wanted proof. I mean, I can see he'd come down the stairs, and he'd be like, hee, and then he'd run back up the stairs, and he was running through the house, and he was annoying. And he was just a little boy, like 3 or 4. Well, I turn on night vision, and the kids are on bunk beds, and my little boy Josh, he's asleep on the bottom bunk, and in the night vision, all of a sudden, you see the blankets move, and then this little head pops up, and he pulls the blanket off of my son, and gets to the end of the bed, and he leapfrogs off the bed, and I was like, holy shnikes, I just caught this most amazing ghosty child. I have that on video. You guys have to look it up. I have to you. It's the coolest thing. Brian, is that not the coolest video of Gabriel on the bed with kids? It's really wicked. You have to get on the look. But anyway, okay, so I had to break you guys down and then separate you. Okay, so I'm gonna just pop through and just do a bunch as I can here. Okay, with the sunglasses on your head, you have a job change coming up that does not involve your desires to do the change. It looks like it's because somebody else and what is going on in their life, you're gonna have all of a sudden to change your path. And it's not a huge deal. It's not like you're gonna feel uncomfortable. It's more like something a wife would do because she had to, or a spouse was concerned. Like his is changing, we gotta move, so I gotta do. Or there's other, things that are going on. So it's not a big deal, and I guess nothing to worry about. Don't worry when he comes and says, well, we have to do this, you're like, oh my God, really? Okay, figuring it out right now. Like just start computing. It's not a big deal. It's not going to throw you off. You're not going to go broke. You're not going to miss payments. Everybody always worries where work is concerned, like how am I going to fall behind? You're not going to. It's all good. And all it's going to do is add some more fodder and information to your resume. Okay. Yellow shirt. Keep your money to yourself right now. Do not let anybody have it or borrow it because you'll never see it again. You're gonna want it too because it looks like you're going to be making a purchase coming up soon. And you wanna have it on hand so that you can go and juggle either way if you wanna do more or less, and you'll be comfortable to do that. But if you lend it out right now, and I think it's part of the problem is because people would be able to know, like, oh, I could just go to her, she's got money, you know, and so people may just assume that you would be more than willing to help out, but right now, and I'm thinking this is probably through October, because something is coming, and not only a purchase, but it also looks like you're gonna be traveling and going on a vacation. And I wanna, I can pick you up and put you anywhere, and you're like totally good to go by yourself, so there's no stopping you. Just be careful where you're spending your money right now, because you won't get it back in time, let alone get it back at all. Keep your money to yourself. And this looks like a woman is wanting me to acknowledge a box of some kind, like an old jewelry box or something I'm supposed to acknowledge. So I don't know if you've got something of someone's, but it's like a flip top box. No, it doesn't look very ornate. It's nothing super designed. Maybe even a musical box or something, but a woman wants me to acknowledge you having this flip-top box that would have belonged to her. It's kind of creepy, you know, those ones that when you open them up, they play the little music. Yeah. See, I must have a really bad life from like Victorian age with googly dolls and stuff like that. Because I can't even go into Victorian homes. I get super freaked out. Mental hospitals too, holy crikey. I think I was pretty much tied up at one point in a past life and left to rot. And I probably actually then did see dead people and they're like, she's nuts, shoot her up, make her happy, wrong room. So yeah, I can't, I know that's horrible, I get freaked out by it though. Can you say hello for me real quick? Hello. Okay, I'm supposed to tell you that although you are not connecting, that someone else is connecting with you and they are really around you more than you realize. And that although some people will say to me, well, I don't dream of them, or I don't feel them around me, I don't sense them around me. A lot of times if you're looking to communicate with someone who's passed over, they don't just readily come through all the time. Because when I was saying before, when if we lose a person, we break up, we divorce, we lose people through death, their energy is now pulled from us. It's just gone. And to get close to us, you know, you can close your eyes and I can touch you I wouldn't even have to touch you, and you're gonna know where my hand is. Even in the dark, you'll feel my energy. And so when they get too close, all of a sudden you're like, I smell, I feel, I know they're, and then it creates a sadness within us, or it creates a feeling of just like nostalgia that turns from a happy memory to a bad one. And so they'll stand at a distance and watch us so that we don't sense them and then become sad or depressed while we're happy for a moment. And some people who are going through a major grieving process, they may not feel them around them. And that, not to say that you're going through a grieving process, but somebody around you wants me to tell you that they are around you. They do see you. Are you a single mom? No. Okay. Well, let me clarify that because your husband's watching. When I pick up a person's energy that is, let's say is married, but I don't pick up that person's energy around them, there's two reasons. One, because the person doesn't care what they're doing and they're here, and it's when somebody is circling your energy that I'm thinking, somebody's like too interested in wearing that, so it's a good thing that I'm not picking up. But two, the other thing is that when I'm hearing that, the sense that I get is that you're single, or that you're a single mom, is because one, you do a lot on your own. You do a lot for yourself on your own. And your whole idea is, I'm not gonna wait for someone to do it for me, I'm gonna do it. And so there is, you know, if this is to get finished, I'm gonna go finish it. I'm not gonna call like, it's 5 o'clock, when are you gonna come do? You know, you just do it. Yeah, so it's not a bad thing that I pick up a single person. It's just that you have the energy that you don't need someone to do something for you. And he doesn't care that you're here, so you could go out afterwards. We'll just keep the live stream going. And he'd be like, I saw it. It was like ran until like, what, 10? Yeah. So that's great. But I'm supposed to tell you that whoever you're talking to is hearing you. Okay, oh my gosh, time flies! Okay, so I'm gonna do some drawings here. You guys have those little doodads, okay? The other night, I picked, I think, 2 or 3 empty seats. So let's hope I don't do that too much. Okay, so the first thing I'm gonna give away here, I have a medium, a large, and an extra large shirt. Okay, so you guys have to think about who needs these things. I have more. So if you need a size that I don't have up here, I've got a bunch in the car. I just want to bring them in. Okay, you know what? I could not get my This is for a shirt. 731. Don't even tell me what's an empty seat. 731. Sorry. Is that you? Yeah. Yay! I have. What size do you need?
Like a medium?
Yeah. Okay. I was like, oh, maybe I'm on it. Oh, maybe. Oh, that's the cute. Is this the medium? I'm sure it is. That's for you, darling. You're welcome. All right. So the next one is for a 15-minute reading. Who needs a reading? This one is 734. Oh, yes. See, everything happens for a reason. Okay. But believe me, all you need to do, I'm telling you, I do so many free readings. Y'all are good. Okay, so this is for a necklace. Pennies, feathers, angels. 758. Is it you? Is it empty seat? Is it you? Let's do it again. 764. Yay! All right, you can take a necklace here. Oh, it just fell off the tree. Oh, it just came undone. Let me fix it. Yeah. Hang on, I should put this one back on here. Hey Brian, will you put this back on here? I just pulled it off. Should change. And I don't have any both up glasses. Can you put that through there for me? All right. I'll let you decide in a minute. That one there? Okay, sorry about that. I just pulled it right off. Okay. Okay, we'll do another shirt. Sure. This will be for, yeah, sure. Let's see. 780. You don't even tell me. I'm telling you, they're not empty. 773. Woo-hoo! I have medium, large, extra large? Extra large. All right. Let's switch one of those. I don't keep doing that. Okay, ready? No. There you are. You're welcome. Okay. And we'll do the other necklace here. Who needs a penny? Wait, who needs a penny? Oh. What's this? Oh, I'm torn. Okay, I'll take this one because it's torn. 752. Oh, Buzz. Is it you? Oh, yay! Thank you. You're welcome. 742.
Ooh.
Hey, would you like a large, extra large, medium?
Extra large.
Okay, I'll go grab that. This one. You want to get me an extra large, please? Thank you very much, sir.
Wait,
Yes, she would like that. Second to that.
I would like.
So we'll do this one too. So this one is a 730.
That'd be me.
Yay! What size do you need?
Probably XL.
Okay, go grab 2XL. I don't know. You may want to hold on a second. 750. Yay! What size do you want? Not yet, I'm on a roll. 747. Yay! What size would you like? All right, one more here. 757. Oh, that's me. Oh my goodness. Oh, it's not. 56.
Never knew I took it.
Nobody. All right, let's just see. What are you? What number are you? Are you like 756?
She's 843.
Did I already call that one? I think I drew it. 776. What size do you need? I don't have any more 2X. They're all gone. All my men took them all. I have so many men.
He's like, have them get the shirts. Yeah.
What did you say?
I don't know.
I don't have, so would you like another koozie?
Can I get the meeting?
Yeah, I'll give you a reading. So you just have to call and report that, and what's your name?
10 minutes.
Tim, okay, just so, okay, so 840, come on, tell me this person here.
No.
840, no empty seats?
I'm 843. That's what you're having.
840? Yes, sure. Okay, so we need 4 extra larges, please, and we're good. All right, well, you guys, thank you so much for coming tonight. Please do not hesitate to email me, Facebook me. I have a private group on Facebook. I'm on Facebook. If you go on and search Rebecca Foster PhD, it'll pull up my professional page. I'm on there every single day. So if you have a question, you
kids are
can
gonna be
message me,
disappointed. They're always
email me,
asking for
whatever, and I will do my, even just say, hey, I was at the gallery and I didn't get read. Do you see anything? So I don't hesitate and don't hesitate.
Nothing to buy.
But get in the galleries for free. They're fun and
Even with the other kids that put money on it.
thank you guys so much for coming.
Christine, you were
Thank
adopted. You hear me?
Watch
I'll ask you to let me
Thank you so much.
And I'm going camping and I told her, so that's it. That's your trip.
That's your trip.
And I'm going to.
That's your trip.
I remember when she said, kept talking and nothing happened.
Very welcome.
I gotta ask her.
Wait for me. Links for the YouTube, and for Facebook, and I get on all the time, just things that are from teachers and messages. There are lists of times that I get and stuff like that. So then we show them, you know, for sure, in case anyone can't. There are times that the next one I'm doing for sure is on YouTube. And that's your so and I do those in the evening. That's fun. You know, it's so funny that we usually once we get out, we able to see everything for and everything's even in heaven, and people are just usually listen to us, and they remove all the human shit out there. I'm sorry, you lost your burger. Well, he's in our lady. Right? Yeah. Oh, sure, thank you. Okay, so we got shirts. Who got shirts? Who got shirts?
Yeah. Never know. Yeah.
Hey, which one of your things is at my house tonight? Stop. One of my yeah. Like, I'm messing with me. I'm like, wait a minute, did I not? Did I hit? I could have made a picture. He was coming in and selling you guys.
No, absolutely not. No, he did it. Thank you very much. I do appreciate that. I left him on the kitchen counter again. Yes, please do. Yeah.
Extra money, there's some extra money, right?
Oh, go ahead. I'm glad I'm doing it. I love it. I just feel like they're all receipted and I pull in and everything before I do these, but I look so forward to it. No, actually, I'm good. I'm good. You're very welcome. Thank you. You're welcome. Yes. Yeah, that was what was I went case. Yeah, they were talking about Hey guys, thanks for joining.